Hey, Bob Hennigan here. This short video by Dr. Berg shows the relationship between insulin resistance and hypertension. He also gives a variety of solutions that you can use to help treat hypertension without no medication.
High blood pressure, hypertension is not a disease. It's a symptom. 90% of hypertension is a known cause. Well, today I'm going to tell you what the cause is. When you start telling people that 90% of hypertension is unknown, you make the drug companies rich because you turn the person into an ATM for certain medications. It's very profitable if you don't let people know what the primary cause is. Let me show you what the primary cause is. Okay, so here we have an artery. You have a certain layer, it's called an endothelial layer of cells. That cell layer has these little tiny receptors for insulin. And insulin triggers something that causes the artery to relax. When that receptor becomes damaged, you get high blood pressure. But the problem is, if you fix insulin resistance, sometimes it doesn't lower the blood pressure. Question is why? Because when you damage that receptor, the receptor won't let insulin in anymore. Now it's really hard to regulate and relax the blood vessel. Also, insulin causes too much calcium to go inside the cells. And this is why they use calcium channel blockers. The cause is insulin resistance. That's ignored because, like I said before, 90% of hypertension is unknown cause. So that's very interesting, but let me just give you a little bit more data. There is normally supposed to be a little protective shield around that endothelium, that layer. It's kind of like something on your frying pan that is a non-stick surface. And when that substance becomes damaged, then we get damage directly to cells, and then you start having a cascade of issues where you get holes into the area, you get inflammation, calcium buildup, excess clotting. What's that little protective shield? The glycocalyx. And that glycocalyx is super vulnerable to getting damaged from too much glucose or fructose. And it's kind of weird that a sugar actually destroys sugar, but it does. So when the sugar is too high or there's too much starch, you start getting this rusting out of that layer. It's like acid rain. It goes in there, it dissolves it very quickly. And without it, you get a lot of damage inside that artery, especially hypertension. And I'm going to talk about that. But I first want to talk about some other things because insulin resistance also creates serious deficiencies of other nutrients that if you don't fix those, it's going to take a long time to get your blood pressure lowered. So I'm going to recommend a combination of two different things to fix your hypertension very, very fast. Going on a low carb diet and doing intermittent fasting. At the same time, we want to get the blood pressure down very, very quickly. So there's several things to add to the low carb diet. Number one is vitamin D, but you must take at least 10 to 20, sometimes 30,000 IUs of vitamin D3 every single day to reestablish this. Second thing is magnesium. Magnesium glycinate is the one I recommend. Magnesium helps take the calcium out of the place where it shouldn't be and help to balance out the calcium to magnesium ratios, because what you need to know is calcium causes contraction. Magnesium causes relaxation. Plus, magnesium is going to help vitamin D to work. In fact, vitamin D won't work without magnesium, and magnesium won't work without vitamin D. They're both really, really important, especially with hypertension. Plus, magnesium reduces cortisol and adrenaline. Magnesium also has anti-inflammatory properties, and magnesium helps reestablish that little layer, that protective glycocalyx. The next nutrient that is important is potassium, and I would recommend taking a good amount of potassium. You can get potassium supplements in 1,000 milligrams per serving size. But what potassium does is it directly helps to fix that glycocalyx as well. And potassium reduces the sodium, and potassium directly lowers blood pressure because it helps to relax the smooth muscle. And then the last thing you need to really get the blood pressure down is to increase your sulfur. Sulfur is going to help reestablish this protective sugar coating glycocalyx. But I wouldn't take it in a supplement. I would get it from food. One of the best sources of sulfur is grass-fed red meat. Eggs also are loaded with sulfur, but it's pretty wild that some people will tell you that, oh, you don't want to have eggs or red meat for blood pressure because it has cholesterol and blah, blah, blah. When in fact, the red meat and eggs will totally turn this thing around. So to fix insulin resistance, we want to avoid too much carbohydrate. We want to avoid, of course, sugar starch. We want to avoid seed oils because that can create inflammation. Also, make sure when you're doing this, you do not have like the hidden carbohydrates. So in other words, I would really keep a food log and monitor your carbohydrates. You want to keep them really, really low without cheating for a period of time. Sometimes it takes some weeks, and then you're going to start to see it come down. I would highly recommend getting a home blood pressure kit so you can test yourself throughout the day and monitor this. And on a rare occasion, you'll see maybe the bottom numbers start coming down, but the top number might not come down. The top number is primarily a problem with the sympathetic nervous system. So sometimes you need to focus more on your stress by getting enough sleep, doing long walks, sometimes to take ashwagandha or maybe even more magnesium before bed. I've just given you a really powerful solution for hypertension, and thanks for watching.
So there you have Dr. Berg's video. We have found that the use of the Feel Great system has been very effective for not only treating hypertension, but a whole bunch of other chronic health issues associated with insulin resistance.